So I agree. I think this is a huge mistake from Blake Lively that she didn't do that. Hi and welcome to Flaa Talk. I'm Kjersti Flaa, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences with celebrities, with Hollywood, and working as an entertainment reporter in general. This last week has been pretty devastating here in Los Angeles. As you know, there's been a lot of fires and so many people lost their homes. It's so much devastation and frustration and anger and sadness. So yeah, that's why I wanted to start this video with a positive note. I was so happy and surprised this morning when I woke up and I saw one of the actresses that I mentioned in a video I did a month ago or so, I think it was, called The Female Hollywood Stars That Make Me Love My Job. And this woman was in there and she noticed, and then she posted that as a reel on her own Instagram and she tagged me in it. And she wrote me this: "Thank you at Kjersti Flaa for including me in your list of female Hollywood stars who made you love your job. The reality is we all have our good days and bad days. We're human after all. I'm definitely not always in a great mood, but I try to remember that everyone I meet might be struggling with something I know nothing about. So if I can help brighten their day, I'll do it. And the reality is that making someone else feel good makes us feel good too. It's a win-win. Too often we focus on huge acts to change the world and it feels overwhelming. But a simple smile can honestly change someone's day." From Naomi Harris. This made me melt inside. How amazing is that? I'm sure you've seen her in all the James Bond movies with Daniel Craig. She plays Moneypenny. I met her for a movie called Collateral Beauty. And she was also in the Oscar-winning movie Moonlight. She's an amazing actress. And we know she's a beautiful human being. So thank you, Naomi Harris, for sending me this beautiful message. I really appreciate it. And if you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, I'll leave a link below in my description so you can follow me there as well if you want to. And of course, here on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and click the notification button so you don't miss an episode of Flaa Talk. Today, The New Yorker posted a very interesting article about the collapse of the Me Too movement in Hollywood. It's a story about the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni lawsuit and what's been going on in the media. I found it pretty interesting. I mean, I was here during the Me Too movement. I remember I went to a party up in the Hollywood Hills with Harvey Weinstein. And that was just a few months before he was called out in, I think it was the New Yorker and the New York Times, who collaborated on these articles that basically led to the investigation and the arrest and later the imprisonment of Harvey Weinstein. But I remember I was at a party up here in Hollywood Hills. He was there with Nicole Kidman. I think he was pushing a movie he did called Lion. This was in 2016 or 15. And I remember he was walking around with her on his arm at this party, and people came up and took pictures with him, and it was really weird. And I was like, I don't know, I don't want a picture with that man. I just felt like I felt he was, I don't know, he had this awful energy about him. So, but anyways, I think a lot of people back then, of course, they knew what was going on. And of course, they didn't say anything about it. Like we've learned so many times here in Hollywood, no one wants to stand up and say anything because there's so many powerful people here and there's too much at risk. So if you do, like for an actress, for example, as we've been told now that we know the story with Harvey Weinstein, that if you did stand up against him, your career was over. So I do understand that a lot of women chose not to. Anyways, this article discusses now how things have shifted. First of all, because Blake Lively is not a very good victim. They're kind of describing her as the perfect white girl hate. She's so easy to hate because also she's friends with Taylor Swift, who's so powerful, and she has this attitude of entitlement. Why didn't Blake Lively, instead of just filing her lawsuit basically in the New York Times, leaking everything there, why didn't she just do an interview and talk about this? It would have made her come across so much more authentic and so much more like a victim, like the Harvey Weinstein victims who came out and told their stories, you know, with their photograph, with quotes. This was just told through a third party, which made it not relatable at all. So I agree. I think this is a huge mistake from Blake Lively that she didn't do that. And we have to remember the reason why she is suing Justin Baldoni is not to get money or more fame or anything like that. It's because she wants to win her good reputation back. Another thing the article mentions is how, how information and misinformation is just going hand in hand these days. No one really knows the truth anymore. There's so many people on TikTok that are legal advisors and they're specialists in this and that and experts, and they have no idea what they're talking about, and they're spreading information out there. Like what happened to me, I've seen so many conspiracy theories about me, about my interview, about what really happened. And the latest one that even the New York Times printed, that I was involved in the alleged smear campaign against Blake Lively. Yes, so I've been witnessing this up close. And how, 1 week Blake Lively was the victim, and then the next week Justin Baldoni is the victim. And everyone's a little bit confused and no one knows really what to believe. And the thing is, at this point, no one really knows the truth except the people who were involved. And I think we have to remember that there are so many things we don't know yet. Yeah, I think that was a very interesting take on this whole situation. And I think what happened during the last few days after Justin Baldoni and his team sued the New York Times, I've never seen such a quick shift from the public before of where the loyalty lays and where they think the truth lays. So, I mean, this story is, as we all know, just beginning. But I'm trying to keep an open mind here. I have, as I said before, of course, I had bad experience with Blake personally, and I have now a bad experience with New York Times reporting, but I still want to read up from both sides as much as I can, and I'll try to keep you guys informed as much as I can as well. Well, talking about celebrities, a lot of people have lost their homes in Los Angeles this last week, and a lot of big A-listers were living in Pacific Palisades, the area where a lot of houses just burned to the ground. And I have to say, it's been almost a little upsetting and sad to see how the public have treated these celebrities, because they were like, you don't get any empathy from us because you're rich and famous and you can just go and live in a hotel or in one of your other 4 houses that you own. And if they ask for contributions online, people are like, oh, you have enough money, you just give your money. And and every time someone posted something on Instagram, Daily Mail will pick up all the negative comments and create a story about it, and writing, this celebrity is getting backlash for talking about their loss or taking this selfie, and whatever they did, they were attacked for it. But when you lose a lot of your personal belongings that has a lot of value to you, that's really sad. So I think we should stop bullying celebrities who come out and talk about their big loss. People like Anthony Hopkins, Mel Gibson, Bella Hadid, John Goodman, Miles Teller, Paris Hilton, Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson, Jamie Lee Curtis. All of these people lost their homes, and I think they deserve a little empathy. The celebrities I don't think we should forgive is people like Kim Kardashian, also Sylvester Stallone, Kevin Hart. Some of these stars have overused their water because they could afford to pay the fines, and it was more important for them to have a beautiful garden. And now when there's a big fire, the water reserves are not as big as they should be. So that's not cool. One of the biggest celebrity stories here, I don't know if everyone knows who this guy is, but he's a news anchor at ABC. His name is David Muir. He's a good-looking man, and he was caught reporting on the fires in a yellow fire jacket, and he had a pin in the back to make it more fitted to his body. And everyone was attacking him about this pin, that he was, posing in front of the fire. When they wrote that story, I was guilty myself, and I went into his Instagram to look, and oh my God, the comments he got from wearing that pin, it was outrageous. And some of his former co-anchors had to come out and, defend him for this. And I just think that these stories are just insane. And being a celebrity, you're really balancing on such a fine line. If you do anything wrong, everyone will be like, after you to get you. And this is just an example of that. And I feel really sorry for him. I mean, in one hand, when you're there in the middle of this fire, of this devastation, and you think about the way you look, not so cool. But at the same time, I mean, he's doing a great job as an anchor, and I think he doesn't deserve all that heat. Anyways, Thanks for watching, and I hope I see you in my next episode. And to everyone in LA specifically, stay safe out there, take care of yourself, and be nice to people. Bye.